Kidding? Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get there.
Ooh, I love this song. I'm hung up in a grave situation.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello and welcome everyone to episode 249 of the Rotten Views podcast. We have a fun one for you guys today, or at least I hope it's going to be a fun one, because like these blind watches, like I do every single week, upon doing this intro, I actually haven't watched the movie yet. But if you guys have looked at the title, if it's already pre-downloaded, thank you, I appreciate it. But if you search this movie out, thank you as well. I'm assuming you enjoy bad movies. But today's episode, we're watching Raw Force from 1982, an hour and 27-minute runtime. It's an action horror movie, and you can find it for free on Tubi. But before we do get too far into this episode, let's do a little bit of housekeeping, like we like to do each and every single week.
Housekeeping?
I think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Could you come back in an hour?
Housekeeping, you want towel?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
So as always, for housekeeping, if you guys are listening on Spotify, make sure to give it a star review. You can give it a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, even those dreaded 2 or 1 stars. It doesn't really matter. A 1 star, I probably will curse you. Maybe I'll put some X-Lax in your protein powder or whatever it might be. You know, we got some magic powers around here. We really don't. I'm just joking with you. So if you do have protein powder and you get the shits, sorry, it's not my fault. I really didn't do anything to it, I promise. But if you guys could give it a rating and a star review, that'd be appreciated. But you know the thing that you can do the most that helps out the podcast the most? Just hit that share button. Share it on your X account, your Facebook account, your Instagram account, stories, whatever it might be. Hitting that share button does help out a lot. If you're on Apple, leave a review as well. Any podcast platform that you're listening to this on, just hit that share button. It does help out a lot. And as always, if you want some more free content, make sure to follow me on all social media accounts at Typhonstein. We're on Threads, we're on X, we're on TikTok. But if you want the most content for free, make sure to go check out the YouTube channel, where I have the weekly game video that drops every single Wednesday. You want to know what else you can find over on the YouTube channel? We have various shorts over there. I post a short every single day. Been doing the Lunchbox series for my daughter, so every single morning, usually they drop scheduled around 6:30 a.m. I feel like that's the prime time for me to post them. I don't know why. It gives me a couple thousand views. I don't know, maybe there's a better time slot for me to be posting in, but I'm not really too sure. I don't really pay too much attention to the analytics, but back to what I was saying. We have various shorts over there as well, community posts as well. We post old episodes of the podcast every single Monday, and I've been live streaming over there for the last, 4 months maybe. Pretty much 5 days a week, 6 days a week for 2 to 3 hours a night. So definitely go check that out. We have Fortnite over there. We've been playing some GTA Online. We have some wrestling games over there. Crime Boss, Rocket City. Kind of got me copyright strike because apparently Bon Jovi was playing in the background. Shame on you, game. But whatever, it is what it is. I do lots of different live streams, lots of different games, and I plan on expanding that even more. So definitely go check out. I'm sure there's probably going to be a couple games you'll at least enjoy watching, and if not, at least just stick around for the shorts and other art videos and whatnot, because I've also been doing a couple live art streams as well. So, there's a ton of free content for you over there. And the next bit of housekeeping, make sure to check out the CWC Canadian Wrestling Championship page. We have a Facebook group as well as an Instagram page and an actual website. On the website, you can find the merch. We have various t-shirts with different colorways, and as well some baseball caps coming soon. So definitely go check that out, and hopefully we'll have some more content as for rosters and whatnot coming up soon. Working on the ring and whatnot right now. So there's a lot of things happening, and hopefully it would all come together this summer. We just got to see how everything's going to line out. But so far, we have about 5 or 6 wrestlers so far, and it should be fun. Hopefully the first show is going to be good. Like I said, we're going to do our best and see how it goes. 2 guys run a wrestling show, and we really don't know what we're doing. We know wrestling, but to run an indie show is a different experience. So hopefully we'll be able to document that on the way as well and do some like vlogs and whatnot. That's the plan, at least, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. We have a ton of things planned, but like I said, just check out the Instagram page and Facebook group. That way you're up to date on everything. Check out the website as well. And, just come back to all the other social media accounts. Everything will be listed down in the description below. But at Type Inside, you can follow me for all my personal stuff. And then, we have the Rotten Reviews Instagram page as well. That's also linked in my Instagram. And we also have the CWC page linked in my Instagram as well, so definitely go check that out. It's a lot of content, there's a lot of work, a lot of things to do, but hey, it's actually really enjoyable. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? And with that being said, let's stop talking about this stuff and let's talk about the movie at hand. You guys are here to listen to me talk about Raw Force from 1982. It's an action horror movie, and like I said at the beginning of this podcast, if you want to, you can watch it for free on Tubi. I know that's where I'm watching it, but then again, I'm a big supporter of Tubi, and I appreciate and enjoy that app so much. But this movie has a 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 41% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. 71% of Google users have liked this movie. Initial release date was July 1982. The description, as read from IMDb: martial arts students visit an island with ghosts and dishonored fighters. They encounter a Hitler lookalike. Oh man, reading the description of this movie while laughing is hard. Hitler lookalike running a female slavery operation, leading to encounters with cannibals, piranhas, zombies, and chaos. See, I tried to do that a little bit last part of that description as like a more serious, toned down, straight to the business type movie trailer kind of voice, so hopefully you guys appreciate that one and enjoy that. This movie has, of course, a director. Obviously, all movies do. What I was getting at, the director and the writer are the same person, so we get to cut corners a little bit, speed up the process a little bit, because at this point in time, I talk about the director, the writer, and a couple of stars. Obviously, like I just mentioned, director and the writer are the same person, which is Edward D. Murphy, who's apparently known for being Liquor Cop number 1 in 1990's Goodfellas. He was also the director for 1985's Heated Vengeance. He was also apparently a security guard in 1987's 3 Men and a Baby. He also played in Law & Order from 1981 to 2000 for 13 episodes as prospective male juror and CSU Tech Murphy and a lieutenant. Don't know how he got away with playing 3 different characters in a TV show like that, but it is what it is. So now we're at that point where we're going to talk about a couple of the cast members. And the first one we're going to talk about is Cameron Mitchell, who's playing Captain Harry Dodds. He's also known for playing Barney Ross in 1957's Monkey on My Back, as well as playing Tom Brookman in 1953's How to Marry a Millionaire. He was also Buck Cannon from 1967 to 1971 for 97 episodes of The High Chaparral. It's a Western by the looks of it. I'm not really too sure. I've never actually even heard of that one before. I'm usually pretty good for knowing some of these shows, but for this one, I know nothing about this one. Apparently, it's based on a ranch in Arizona territory in the 1870s. So, my dad probably knows a little bit about it because he's into those type of shows. Me personally, though, I don't know a damn thing about it. The next person on the cast list that we're going to talk about is Jeffrey Biney. Biney? Whatever. I'm good for butchering last names. He's playing the character Mike O'Malley. who's also apparently in 1978 played a second warrior in Battlestar Galactica. He also was a second warrior in the 1978 Battlestar Galactica TV show, as well as he played Compton for one episode in 1968 of the Star Trek TV show. And then he's got a bunch of other TV shows that he's in. He's in Quincy M.E., The Bad News Bears, The Eddie Capra Mysteries. Pretty much all these shows, Charlie's Angels, he's in for one episode only. So he's just a little background character for the most part. This movie does feature a tagline, and the tagline is read as Invaders of the Jade Tombs. That's it. It's a stupid tagline, but we'll accept it, I guess, because we have no other option. And while on IMDb, there's a little bit of trivia that pops up that caught my eye. Apparently, director Edward D. Murphy showed this film to Chuck Norris at a private screening. Why? I don't know. Maybe because it's like a spoof action movie. I'm not really too sure. But, that's pretty cool because everyone loves Chuck Norris. And, if you don't love Chuck Norris, then Chuck Norris is going to come kick your ass. So we're going to say that we love Chuck Norris just so our ass doesn't get kicked. Even though he's like 80 now, he can still kick some ass, I'm sure. Alright, now with all that stuff being said, let's get ready to talk about the movie at hand from 1982. But before we do, if this by chance is your first time listening to me talk about a movie, I'm going to be talking about this movie on the podcast from start to finish and hitting all the points in between that interest me. So that means this episode is going to be full of spoilers. Every single episode I do is full of spoilers because that's just how I do the podcast. So like I said, if this is your first time watching, you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to go pause it now and go watch it on Tubi. Or just sit back, relax, listen to me talk about the movie, and I'll either make you really want to go see the movie on Tubi, or you'll just want to avoid it at all costs. I leave that call up to you at the end of this podcast. I'll give my opinion on the movie, but that's just my personal opinion, so don't quote me on anything. But with that being said, if you're at home, sit back, relax, get comfy, get some Mike and Ike, some hot tamales, whatever it might be. Sit back, relax, and listen. Or maybe, you listen to this while you're going to sleep. I don't know why you want to listen to my voice while you go to sleep, but thanks anyways. I appreciate it. And if you're at work, hopefully this helps you get through the day. And like I know most of you guys are, if you're listening in the car, just make sure you keep your eyes on the road. Get to where you're going nice and safely. That way everyone gets to where they need to go. And we're going to get started on the movie right now.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
Big John Taylor, mercenary, soldier of fortune. He's more than a man. He's a walking death machine. Candy O'Perrin, sexy undercover cop. Her deadliest weapon is her body. Mike O'Malley, Hollywood's top stuntman.
What do you want us to do?
Fight our champions. Only this time the action's for real. And Rick Chan, black belt, primed for action with one blow. A death blow. Only 2 words describe the power and fury of this unstoppable team. Raw force. Into hell on the high seas.
What was that?
Final port of call. Warrior Island, uncharted and unexplored.
We should not be here.
Burial grounds for martial arts masters from the past. Their resting place is defiled. They rise from the dead to avenge their honor. Who will win, the living or the living dead? Join John Dresden, Gillian Kesner, Jeff Binney, Raymond King, and Cameron Mitchell. As they band together with the incredible power of raw force, untamed and unleashed to kill.
So we got our movie starting right out with this old-timey airplane. Not sure where the plane's going, who's flying the plane at this point in time, but he's got a Hitler-looking stash while he's got these giant goggles on. So we could just assume that's the Hitler look-alike, because then we see in the plane just a bunch of females, feet and hands. And, then we finally see them. They're all pretty with makeup and everything on. And we have this creepy guy kind of just staring at them as he's having a smoke. And the music slowly starts to pick up. And we just see the giant font of Raw Force popping up on the screen as we're over this ocean. And it's a basic font, but I like at least in the O for Force, they put like a ninja star in the middle of it. So a little bit, B minus for creativity at least. So we see this plane has like the pontoons on because it's landing on the lake or the river, whatever it might be. But on the docks, we also see these guys. They look like KKK members, but they're in black cloaks. But then when we get a closer look at them, they're these like Asian guys in like brown cloaks. And then we see this close-up of the Hitler lookalike guy looking out the window being like, oh yeah, I think I'm getting close enough to the dock now. And then we see the Hitler lookalike coming off the plane. He's got a full-on white suit, white shoes, everything's white. And he's, the ladies are falling behind him with the other guy's henchmen. And the guys in cloaks are like, yeah, ladies. But then at that point in time, we also see some weird guy with face paint in the bushes watching on as everyone's coming off the plane. I believe they call the Hitler lookalike Mr. Spear because he gets to the Asian guys with the cloaks on. And they're like, oh, hello, Mr. Spear. Make the ladies strip down naked. And they're like, all right, everyone get naked. And they just start ripping off the clothes, and we just see boobs already. Yep, that's an 80s movie for you. And then all the naked lady get put into a wooden bamboo-looking cage. And then one of the Asian guys like, oh, look at this one. I want this one doesn't look right. What's wrong with her? It's like, too skinny. So then the Hitler guy is like, no, we can't let these guys get away with it to one of his henchmen. And he's like, we got to start breaking necks. And the henchman guy's like, no, we can't be doing that, man. Or we can't come back next week with new batch ladies. So we see they're making a trade. They're trading the naked ladies for baskets full of jade stones. But they take one of the jade baskets off of the scale for the deal because this lady's too skinny. You're not getting that basket of jade stones. And then the lady's like, hey, so what's going to happen with me, guys? You going to take me back? And one of the henchmen guys just punches her in the stomach and be like, no, you're stuck here now, lady. So then the lady gets all scared because these guys in cloaks are coming at her in slow motion. And then she screams. And then the white guy who's got the face paint on, the blue cloak, comes out with a samurai sword. And then he slashes it down and we just see blood splatter all over the place. So I'm assuming he just killed her, most likely. For what reason? I don't know why. Sorry, the guys in cloaks aren't KKK or anything like that. They're monks. They're supposed to be monks. Cannibal monks, by the way, just letting you know, but that's besides the point. Because then we see Captain Harry Dodds and I believe O'Malley sitting in the car together as they're on their way to the airport as they're reading stories about this island that they're getting ready to go out to. Sorry, they're not going on a plane to get there. They're going on a cruise ship, of all things, to get there. So we see a lady at the cruise ship questioning the guys getting on. Apparently one of them's Taylor, one of them's Schwartz, and one of them's O'Malley. So I know O'Malley's one of the top build guys. Anyways, the captain of the ship's like, this is my last voyage out to sea with that one, because that one, all she cares about is money. She doesn't care about putting any money into the ship. She just wants money in her own pockets. I got a stupid crew. I mean, aside from you, the Asian guy that I'm talking to right now, who's my crew member, my head man, you're okay, but everyone else on the ship is stupid. So then on the cruise ship, we see a bunch of people just sitting on lawn chairs, just enjoying the view and whatnot. And then we see a couple of the guys using karate sticks, fighting in between the crew members and the people just trying to relax. And there's someone dubbed over top being like, hey, you guys, this isn't nowhere to play around. Somebody could get hurt. Somebody might poke an eye out. You guys should really stop with all the stuff you're doing there. Then one of the karate guys fighting with the bow staff actually takes out one of the windows of the ship, and the captain's like, hey lady, they're wrecking my ship. She's like, this isn't your ship, this is my people on my ship. And then they start fighting over whose ship it is. And then this guy with a 70s porn stash comes up being like, hey, I want to show one of the ladies some self-defense stuff and I need somebody to be a volunteer. And the two of these blondes are talking. She's like, yeah, Cookie, you go up. Nobody needs to know that you're on the LA SWAT team and you're martial arts and all this stuff. So he picks her and she goes to kick his ass. So then the main lady who's running the ship is talking to Go Chen, the Asian guy who's the second in command on the ship next to the captain. She's like, we gotta have lots of alcohol set up because, God forbid, the Warrior Island doesn't sell alcohol at all. He's like, we're supposed to be sailing by the island, not actually going on the island. And she's like, well, actually, a lot of the people on this ship actually want to go take a look at the monks on the island, so, to get more customers and get a little bit more cash, I said we could stop at the island. So I'm also an idiot. I didn't realize that Captain Harry Dawes. I thought he was a police captain. No, he's the boat captain of all things, because the lady goes up. He's like, Dad, aside from deodorant, because you really stink, is there anything else that you need off the island? And then we just cut to this cage fight of some sort. And everyone's just cheering on these two random guys that are just, going ham at each other. Kind of like Bloodsport, but not as good. So we see that this Warrior Island is somewhere over in China, because they're shopping in this little town, but there's a bunch of buildings all over the place, and it's all Chinese writing on the buildings, and it's cluttered as fuck. and there's so much stuff that my eye wants to attract to because I love seeing the old style neon signs and other shops to see what's all there. But it goes through the town so damn fast that all I see is a Chinese drugstore. So while in this town, we see these two guys are out shopping with their ladies, or two ladies, I'm not sure if they're ladies. And the one guy's like, hey, ladies, how about we go back, me and Buddy here, we go back and soak our feet in some Epsom salts. That way you two ladies have a dancing partners for tonight. And the ladies are like, all right, fine. So he just literally throws all the bags that he's been carrying on top of her chest. Be like, all right, ladies, we'll see you guys later. And then we just cut and see a couple of the ladies in this Jasper Jade statue store, and they're looking at the statues and they're like, wow, these prices are absurd. They just can't be real. They just can't be real. And then inside the store is the Hitler lookalike, because of course he made the deal earlier to get all those Jasper Jade stones to probably make into statues. So then we see O'Malley and the other guy getting out of the taxi. They weren't going back home to soak their feet. They're going to a whorehouse because, you know, why not? The other guy's a creep, and he's like, you know what? I hear they give the best massages around here. Better just go spend a little bit of time, you know, go see a little bit of the culture. I'm very curious about the Hitler lookalike because his name is Spear, Thomas Spear. He rides around in a red cube truck or a delivery truck with his name on the side of it. So I'm not really sure how sneaky he can be. Like, now he's taking off the Thomas Spears and Co sign, and we find that there's like a police sign underneath it. But he's driving up to the location that he wants to go, I guess, rob maybe, with the sign already on it at that point in time, instead of taking off, I don't know, before he even get in the area. So O'Malley's friend is, you know, getting a rub down by some of the ladies, and O'Malley's sitting at the bar inside the spot, just drinking, you know, looking at the pamphlet for the Warrior Island. And then someone knocks on the door, and of course it's Spear coming in to, you know, just take a look at the area and see what's going on. And then Spear sees the Warrior Island pamphlet in O'Malley's hands. It's like, so anyone here going to Warrior's Island? And the guy, O'Malley's like, yeah, I am. She's like, it's a horrible place. I was stuck there. You know, I got this eye twitch now because of it, because I was stuck there. And then, of course, we hear another knock on the door, and it's just Spears' fake police officers banging on the door, being like, police, it's a raid. So O'Malley's buddy comes out of the back. He's like, it's a raid, we gotta go. And that's when we see O'Malley and his buddy jumping out the window onto the top of the police truck and, you know, running away. But O'Malley's buddy is just running away in his, like, red heart boxers by the looks of it. And then we cut to Go Chin, who's depressed, drinking in a strip club, because he's like, I was told we were going past the island, not going on the island. I was told we were going past the island. But then we cut to, like, the captain and everyone else are there as well, having some drinks. You know, just enjoying the signs and the sights and the ladies and all the nakedness. Captain Dawes like, once I get enough money saved away, I'm going to buy my own ship. I'm tired of taking orders from that silly female. And then one of the other guys is joking with O'Malley, being like, maybe the cops raided the place because the girls all have diseases, you know. There could be a chance of that. And then the captain goes to the washroom because he needs to take a leak. And somehow Spears' men know that he's part of the group of guys that were in the whorehouse. And they go to put a knife on him and be like, come on, get out of the washroom, act cool. We're getting out of here. So then Go Chin sees the captain and notices that there's trouble, and he breaks out his, you know, karate moves, and we have a giant bar fight. The whole time this bar fight is going on, the strippers are still dancing. I only see one stripper, actually, to be honest with you, in this bar. And it must be a common occurrence because she's just still dancing. No sign of fear, nothing. Just being like, oh yeah, boys, just keep fighting. Maybe when you guys are knocked out, I'll just steal all your money. It's funny, the guy that was giving the self-defense course on the boat that got his ass kicked by Cookie, it has a guy coming out with a knife, and he's all scared and terrified, and out of nowhere, Go Chin comes out of the corner with a super kick, knocking the guy out, and he's like, thanks, I appreciate that. You know, you're trying to teach, you know, self-defense courses, and apparently you know nothing about it. Then one of the bad guys goes to get out of the strip club and goes running into his vehicle to drive away. And I don't know if it's Taylor or who it is, but he just runs over the traffic and does a super kick, a flying super kick, and hits the guy and makes him crash the truck into a cage full of ducks or geese by the look of it. I think they're ducks. I only look quickly. Pretty sure they're ducks. And then all the guys are outside with the captain, and Dodds is like, hey, man, I thought the guy was playing for the other team. That's not what he says. He uses that word that I'm not going to use for the podcast because I don't want people to hate me. He's like, I thought he was playing for the other team. And then I felt his knife. And they're like, his knife? He's like, yeah, he was sticking me with a knife, trying to stab me in the the washroom. So now it's the next day. We see everyone boarding the boat, and Spears like, "What happened? You were supposed to kidnap the captain last night, so the boat can't go to the Warriors Island because that's our island where we're trading to the monks." And the henchman guy's got Band-Aid on his chin, below his eyes. They're a lot stronger than I thought. Anyways, we see someone on the radio system be like, "Alright guys, for those of you throwing money in, the divers ask that it's not nickels and dimes. Quarters and above only, please. Quarters and above. They only want to look for quarters and above, please." You see everyone just, partying on the boat for whatever reason, just having some drinks, loosening up a little bit. There's some crutches just hanging around in the boat for some reason, even though I haven't seen anyone lipping around at all. But there is a cool case of old Coca-Cola in glass bottles just sitting off on the side. And we see this guy talking to Cookie, and he's like, "Hey, what you do, lady?" She's like, "I'm a cop." He's like, "Oh, cop." And she's like, "Well, what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a male stripper. I'm a star attraction here. What do you want?" So then Cookie goes to get another drink because she asked for it on the rocks. And this balding guy with some curly red hair, he's a weird ass ginger because he's got like mutton chop. He's totally bald on the top, but he's got big poofy hair. Anyways, he headbutts a big giant block of ice just to get a little piece of ice for her drinks. And she finds it funny and hilarious, so she might have a thing for the bald bartender guy. So we see Taylor sitting on the ground talking to a lady, and then with this other lady yells up that's the Steve guy's birthday. So this other guy is bringing over the cake as everyone's singing it really in a drunk voice, and we can tell the guy carrying the cake is really drunk too, because he just literally turns and looks at Taylor and smashes that giant cake in the face of the girl that he's talking to, and you just can't see her anymore because she's just coated in cake now. And then we see people eating the cake, but everyone just has like a handful of cake in a napkin, and they're just eating out of the napkin like that's a normal way to eat cake. These guys are really fucked up, to be honest with you. So then we have this one lady who's talking to the most handsome guy in the room. She's apparently going to do a centerfold, and he's like, "Why are you doing it? You doing it for the money? Doing it for the publicity? I know why you're doing it. You're doing it for the devil. Because look at this place. Look at everyone around here. They're all drinking and naked and doing stuff for the devil. They're all heathens." And she's like, "Nice to meet you." So then the girl that got hit with the cake is in the shower, scrubbing up, getting all the cake off. And Taylor is talking to her about Warrior Island. Apparently these Shogun monks or Shogun warriors would go there to die because they believed that the monks would raise them from the dead to fight as ghosts, I guess, and it would allow them to keep going on doing what they loved doing the whole time. If that makes any sense, I don't really know. I wish I knew what the character's name was, but he's like the Wish or Timu version of Burt Reynolds. He's the same guy that was with O'Malley at the massage parlor. He's now, getting it on with another lady. He's like, "Come on, lady, we gotta hurry up before my wife shows back up, because I'm a dickhead and a piece of shit." But then we just cut to Spears' plane that's on the water, and a bunch of weird, warrior guys are coming out of it and getting on a raft to go over to the boat, because Dodd says the boat just docked near the island, I guess. Not really too sure. It's supposed to be nighttime. Dots is just looking out the window, staring up, being like, "Alright, I'm bored while everyone else is getting wasted down below." So then we see Stevie, the guy that it's his birthday. He's really dumb and stupid. Apparently he teaches 3rd grade, which is really good for our population. Anyways, he's hooking up with the girl that's, let everyone know that was his birthday. Apparently she's a mob girl, and she murdered her old husband because he was a piece of shit and was always sleeping around with people. And he's like, so you took this cruise to get him off your mind. She's like, "No, I took this cruise to get out of the country. There's a warrant out for my arrest, actually." So then we see the bad guys boarding the ship, and they're dressed in some very questionable attires. One of them looks like he's also in baseball gear. One of them's got a hard hat on. One of them, for some reason, is a white guy who went full native with face paint and everything else. Anyways, I see 2 crew guys playing some gin on a seat, and they're like, "Alright, I'm just gonna choke you out with a chain." And then the Burt Reynolds wannabe guy, the lady's leaving his room, and she gets an arrow right in the back from one of the bad guys. He's like, "God, we're under attack. I'm gonna slam the door and not check on you at all. Hopefully you're okay, lady out there that's probably dead." Then we see one of the other bad guys who now has a samurai sword, who's just going around killing random crew members that are on top of the boat. And then I believe it's O'Malley and whatever girl he's with come running out of this back room, and they're like, there's dead people there. You go hide underneath the stairs down there." And then we just hear everyone screaming, and everyone else who's getting drunk being like, what's going on? Then we cut back to Stevie's room where he's got the girl on top of him, and she's completely naked. He's like, "Hey, I just thought about, what if my roommate comes back from working out early?" And she's just like, "The more the merrier." And then one of the bad guys comes in, who's got a biker helmet on with the swastika painted on it. He just starts pouring gas everywhere. And Stevie's just like, "Hey, who is he? And then he starts pouring gas on Stevie, and then a fight breaks out. But Stevie's a weak little bitch and gets knocked to the ground. And then next thing you know, the bad guy is like pinning the naked lady face first down on the bed. Then we see O'Malley fighting with the bad guy with the katana. And he takes a board and like makes the ninja guy lose his sword, and it's stuck in the wood off to the side. And then next thing you know, O'Malley puts the guy through the board, and he's like, what happened? And we look down at the bad guy, and we just see the sword poking through his chest. Then the next part of the movie is pretty much just O'Malley fighting random guys, them being dead after like 1 or 2 hits, and we also see Go Chin fighting random guys as well. And then one of the guys on the ship goes to Mayday for help, and one of the bad guys just finds a random fire axe and just starts stabbing in the back of it, and then hits the radio control panel, and then we just see them little cheap, sparks, because the effect budget probably is not that great for this movie. Then we see Go Chin chasing this one bad guy down to go kick his ass, and the guy just literally jumps off the boat, and we just hear a giant splash of water. And then we cut back to Stevie's room, and the lady's just like, get your ass off me, you're not gonna do anything to me. Next thing we know, she's tied to the bed somehow. I'm not sure how or when it happened. But then the safety instructor comes in and just literally starts beating the shit out of the biker guy with the Nazi helmet. He picks up a broken beer ball, but now the guy actually knows how to fight because now he's kicking some ass. I might have spoke too soon, because then the biker guy comes up, smashes him in the face with an air ball, and then throws his head through a window, and he starts screaming as blood starts gushing all over the place. But then he gets a second wind again, and he starts kicking the shit out of the biker guy again. So then the biker guy goes to hide in the washroom of all things. So the guy just breaks down the door, starts kicking his ass, and then we see him ram the biker guy's head into the toilet and flush it, and we just hear him starting to drown by the sounds of it. This movie is very wacky, 100% wacky. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's definitely wacky. Then we see Taylor using his crutches to beat up one of the bad guys. He kind of like sacks him and then drops him to the ground. Then O'Malley shows up being like, good job, buddy, good job. And then they chase after another bad guy who throws gas down everywhere and sets everything on fire. And it's very poorly done fire effects. But then Dawes runs out, Captain Dawes. He's like, goddamn, my ship's on fire. The ship's on fire. Then as the ship is on fire, all the bad guys start to retreat. And then Captain Dawes is like, god damn it. As soon as I get the goddamn gun and find the goddamn bullets for it, they set the goddamn ship on fire and run away. So then they try to put the fire out, and he's telling O'Malley to turn on the hose for the fire hose, and it's not working at all. He's like, God damn it, nothing works on this goddamn piece of shit ship. So then we see them setting up a emergency raft to get off the ship because it's on fire. And Dawes is like, where's that? What's her face? What's her lady? And O'Malley's like, what? Who are you talking about? Hazel, the lady that's like all about the money. And Dawes goes to find her, and she's in the room trying to put as much money in a duffel bag because she's like, I can't leave my money, I can't leave my alcohol, my money, that's the only thing I'm living for. So come to find out what Timu Burt Reynolds' name is, it's Lloyd. Because when they're trying to throw the raft overboard to get it in the water, Lloyd's sitting in the middle of the boat on the dock, on top of the ship, being like, nope, not getting out, I'm just going to sit here and drink. So O'Malley has to literally drag him out of the raft so they can put the raft in the water and try to help everyone get off the boat. And then we see that the second in command bad guy's name is Cooper, because he's talking to Spear. And they're like, oh, this is a big call this time. I told you the monks wouldn't get mad if, we stood our ground about it. And then Cooper's like, I don't understand. If the monks like sex so much, why don't they just go to a whorehouse and get sex that way? He's like, well, they can't. They need us to supply for them. And then we see the monks carrying away a bunch of naked ladies in their wooden cages again. So we see the surviving members in the raft just floating around, and we find out the raft is taking on water, and Dodds is like, if somebody wasn't so cheap and kept up the maintenance of things, we could stay on the raft for weeks at a time, but seeing someone's cheap, we only probably got a day or two before the raft sinks. So then they see the plane flying overhead, and they start shooting up at it to try and get his attention to get rescued. Obviously, they don't realize that it's Spear, the group of people that just tried to kill them and made the ship originally sink as it is. And as Spears is flying the ship, he's like, what's that popping sound? He looks down and he's like, oh, it's people. He's like, oh, you stupid son of a bitch. It's those people from the ship, Cooper. You can't do anything, right? Can you? So we see them floating in the water, and it's foggy now. But they see land, so they're getting all excited. And of course, Go Chin's not excited at all because he knows what land we're getting closer to. And then one of the ladies starts screaming because we see a dead body just floating in the water beside them. And she's been cannibalized. So they're all on the shore, and they're like, so where do you think we are, Captain? It's like, well, I'd say we're probably on Warriors Island, so that means we either stay on the beach and hope help comes and finds us, or we trek inland to hopefully find some help. So then they're trekking through the woods, and Lloyd's like, you know what, this is where we're going to camp. And he sits down on the ground, finishes his alcohol, and he's like, you know, the issue we made, we didn't take a case of gin with us. We should have brought a case of gin with us. We were stupid for not doing so. So then O'Malley's like, come on, Lloyd, let's get going. He's like, you don't call the shots. What do you think you're doing? He's like, come on, we're going. And we're going to go now. If you don't keep up, you're going to get your butt kicked. So then, I think he gets mad at Taylor, I think it is. And he puts his hand on Taylor, and Taylor pushes him to the ground and be like, you touch me again, I'm going to have to kick your ass. That's when Lloyd then pulls the gun out on him. Go Chin just like karate chops Lloyd's hand and makes him drop the gun. And just gives him that kind of look, being like, don't fuck around in the woods in this island because it's going to cause nothing but trouble. And just stop being a dumbass, you stupid drunk. And now it's nighttime. We see the moon. We hear this stupid freaking dog or coyote or wolf or something just howling in the background for an absurd amount of time. Anyways, O'Malley's talking to the girl that he was kind of hooking up with, being like, sure hope you're not thinking about taking a swim in there. Pretty big piranhas in there. Saw them back in the war. Saw a Vietnam guy get fed to one. Wasn't a pretty sight. Pretty sure the girl that he's talking to is also the wife of Davis, you know, the TV version of Burt Reynolds. And he's like, do you love him? She's like, no. He's like, I can't believe how happy I am to hear that. Now it's the next day, and after them trekking for a while, they've come to a gravesite area. It's apparently the same spot that they have on the brochure, and I think it's Dodds. He's like, this must be where they buried the Kung Fu warriors. And then out from behind one of the tombstones, Spears just pops out with a rocket launcher and shoots a rocket at them. And then Cooper comes out with some AKs, and some other guys from their group come out with AKs. So now we just have everyone running, screaming, trying to hide behind anything that they can find to hide behind. And we find out that Spears and all his men are horrible shots, because even with rocket launchers and a bunch of AKs, they can't land a single shot on any of them. Then everyone starts scattering around the area, and one of the bad guys is like sneaking around behind the tombstones. And out of nowhere, I think it's Taylor just does like a monkey roll, and he takes down one of the guys with AK and just starts choking him to the point where blood just starts coming out of his mouth. And then out of nowhere, Taylor looks over and sees a giant like tribal flag, so he picks it up and just spears the guy in the stomach with it. We see everyone getting in their various fights. We see Go Chin fighting the guy with the katana sword. Then out of nowhere, we see Cookie. She's fighting a guy with an AK, and he's got a strap on it to hold it on his chest. Anyway, she comes up behind him and starts choking him out over top of a tombstone with it, and he dies. And then one of the, I think the katana guy, his sword gets broken and he gets like stabbed in the stomach, and the next thing you know, we see Go Chin kicking him off of a cliffside. Not a big cliffside by any means, but a cliffside nonetheless. And then we see O'Malley fighting with Spear, and as he's fighting with Spear, he's like, I know you're from somewhere, I just can't picture where it is now though. And then all the guys chase off Spears and all his bad guys, and they got all their weapons now. And O'Malley's got the bazooka. He's like, now I know where that guy's from. And Taylor's like, who? The guy with the bazooka. He was at the cat house, and he was telling us not to come here because it's bad. And then next thing we know, we see the monks are all standing behind them. So now we see all the guys sitting down with the monks, and the monks are telling them that they came on the island with no permission. It's like, well, we really didn't have a chance to ask for permission because our raft kind of came here, and we had no other choice but to get off here. So then the monks are like, you need to prove yourself if you want help. What you guys did in the graveyard cemetery wasn't really proving anything to us because the people ran away like cowards, so it didn't really prove anything. So if you want help from us, then you're gonna have to fight our strongest warriors. And now it's later that night. We see the monks are doing a ritual summon to summon their greatest warriors so that they can fight O'Malley and everyone else, because they're on the island without the permission of the monks. And then as they're doing this ritual, we see some hands starting coming out of the graves that they were just fighting in earlier. And we see some undead warriors appearing. Then while they're doing this ritual, we see one of the other monks has this giant basting utensil. He's basting up this girl that's tied to a rope, or tied to a log, I should say, with rope. That makes sense. And she's kind of like one of those pig things, rotisseries. It looks like she's going to be that, essentially. And she's going to be, sacrificed to the gods to make these undead warriors invincible, essentially. Then we see O'Malley and the group meet up with another girl that's living on the island. She's one of the ones that was a survivor, I guess. And she's like, there's 2 other girls on the island, too, that the monks haven't released yet. She's the one of them's American. And, if we don't get them out of here soon, they're going to die. And we see O'Malley and the guys running in with guns, and they're in where the ritual spot is taking place because they essentially knew where that was because the lady kind of just pointed over to it. And they free the lady before she's sacrificed, at least. So I don't know if the undead warriors are going to have their full power or not. Then they're running away from the monks, and the monks are just laughing at them sitting in the ritual spot because they're like, you're not going to get off the island. Anyways, they get ready to run away and, to try and get to the raft, I guess, to get off the island. That's when they notice some of the undead coming at them. So Cookie tries to shoot at them, and of course nothing actually happens to them because, they're already dead. Or at least they're painted gray, so they look dead. Anyways, one of the ladies goes to run to a different direction. One of the undead warriors grabs her and just picks her up and tosses her off like a cliff, maybe? I'm not really too sure how far she fell down. But now we just see everyone in the group getting in various one-on-one fights with other various undead people. But then we see Lloyd, who literally gets, attacked in the back and blood just starts gushing all over the place. I'm assuming he's dead, or at least going to be dead soon. Which is no great cause, because he's a piece of shit. At one point, we see Taylor fighting this one undead creature, or zombie guy, and he later punches him in the head. The zombie guy falls in the back of a wicker basket and just falls over, and he's apparently done after that. There's a slow-mo shot of Taylor knocking over the table that has all the food on, because apparently that's going to slow down the undead fighters from coming after them. And then everything after this is a slow-mo of the monks chasing after them and the undead chasing after them, but the undead are kind of just speed walking, if that at most. Everyone runs across this rope bridge, and as they finally get across the rope bridge, Dawes starts burning the top of the rope, and of course the bridge breaks, and a bunch of the undead guys fall to the ground at the bottom. God knows how deep it is, I don't really know. But then a bunch of them are just standing on their side looking down and be like, huh, that's a big fall. They survived the night because it's now the next day, and we see them making their way through the woods, just trying to get to the raft, I guess, or off the island somehow. I'm not sure what their plan is. Anyways, but then we see the undead warriors still chasing after them. It's in a slow-mo shot, and then we see the monks all behind them, all cheering and laughing and smiling, being all happy. But anyways, the group stops to let Davis down on the ground, and I'm assuming he finally died now, because O'Malley's been carrying him the whole time, because the girl starts crying about it, and we just see Davis laying not face first down the ground. He's laying on his back down the ground, but he's not making any movements at all. And then they notice a plane off on the docks, and the lady's like, that's how I got here. I got here on that plane. So then they're like, well, that's, I guess how we're going to be leaving then. We're going to go down that plane right now. And of course, they get to the plane, but of course, Hazel looks off to the side. She's like, hey, that looks like a mine. Hey, is that a big jade stone just over there? I really want that jade stone. And of course, inside that mine is Spear and Cooper, and they're stealing some more jade rocks because they're like, why not? That's what we do. We might have lost all our friends right now at this point in time because apparently Taylor and O'Malley killed them all, but at least with all these jade, we'll be able to retire now. And then Spears confronts O'Malley and them because O'Malley's like, all right, everyone on the plane can't find the keys at all, but I'll hotwire it. And Spears like, I'm sorry we keep meeting like this, but we're going to have to solve this issue right now. And then some undead warriors come in and just knock out Spears, and I think Cooper as well. But then everyone else starts running away screaming as O'Malley starts to fight off the undead. But when they go run down their side of the beach, we see more undead warriors coming at them. And of course, we see O'Malley and Taylor and Go Chin and Cookie fighting off the undead warriors, while everyone else, for whatever reason, decides to run into the mine of all places to hide. We see O'Malley looking over at the plane, and we notice that Spears is making a run for it. So then O'Malley goes to chase after him. One of the undead warriors appears in front of him with a sword, but he takes the sword away from him and somehow is able to cut the undead's head right off, and we see blue blood pouring everywhere. But anyways, he gets to the plane in time, but then he starts to fight Spears in the plane. The side door of the plane is open, so O'Malley kicks Spears outside. He lands in the water, and we finally see the piranhas. We've heard about the piranhas a couple times, but we see the piranhas finally in action as Spears is flopping around the water, and the water starts turning red all around him. And surprisingly enough, we actually do have a couple shots of the piranhas underwater. It looks like they're kind of eating a corpse of some sort. Not really, though. It's hard to tell. It's not really. It's really zoomed in shot, to be honest with you. We just see a couple fish swimming around, to be honest. But anyways, O'Malley's got control of the plane now, and he's taking it back to the island because it's still in the water, but it kind of got out away from the shore a bit. Now we see everyone loading onto the plane, and we see Taylor and Go Chin fighting us on the undead on the dock, the pier, runway, whatever it might be called. A couple of the undead are falling into the water. Go-Chin actually falls into the water as well, but it looks like the piranhas aren't attacking him yet because Taylor's able to pull him out of the water in time. Then everyone finally gets on the plane. We see the plane slowly getting away from the dock area, and one of the guys throws dynamite on it, and we see the runway of the dock blowing up, and there's supposed to be 2 of the undead guys or 3 of the undead guys on that end where it's blowing up, but we can clearly tell it's just like wooden statues with the same costume on it, because they just stand there and we just see like fire and explosions happening all around them, and then we see the plane slowly starting to take off from the water. Then we see the plane flying in the air, and then "To be continued" just pops up on the screen as the plane flies out of the shot, and we just see the mountains behind it, and the outro credits start to roll, and that's it. That's the end of the movie. I gotta say, this movie was interesting. By the description of the movie, I was hoping for a little bit more. I was hoping for a little bit more wacky. I was hoping for some more of the cannibal aspect of things, the ghost aspect of things, the piranhas and whatnot. I'm glad we at least saw the piranhas and you actually see a shot of the piranhas, seeing it was mentioned a couple times. I feel like the beginning of the movie is kind of like a slow burn. With that being said, there is more action near the end half of the movie. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. I think that's a decent score. I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again at some point in time just for the sake of just having some background noise on while I'm drawing. But other than that, I thought it was an okay movie. Definitely go check it out if you want to. It's on Tubi. It's a weird, wacky action style horror movie, so it is what it is. It's definitely an acquired taste, let's say. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. We are now at that point in time where we're going to pick what we're going to be watching next week. It's going to be another blind watch from Tubi. So if you guys want to watch it ahead of time, go check it out on Tubi. This movie is from 1985. It's an hour and 28 minutes. So it's a horror movie. And next week, we will be watching, for the first time ever, Massacre in Dinosaur Valley. I haven't even heard of this movie before, but it came up as a recommended video after watching the first one, or the movie that we just watched. So it's probably just as good. And I gotta say, it's super hot inside this little spot that I'm doing my podcast because I had the fan off the whole time, so it's not extra background noise for me to edit out. So I'm glad that this episode is done now, and hopefully you guys will check out the outro band, Toronto-based horror band, Blood Opera. All their links are down below. You can find them on Spotify, Amazon Music, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun places. Like I said, links are all down below in the description below. And actually now Spotify allows you to tag music in your podcast episodes, so they're tagged in the end of each episode of the podcast. So you can just click on the episode and then click on them if you want to go directly to their Spotify link. And as always, make sure to check out all my social media links at Typhonstein. All the links are down below in the description. But the main thing that we want to push is that YouTube channel. Definitely go check out the YouTube channel. We got the weekly game video dropping every single Wednesday. I vote episodes of the podcast every single Monday. We have various shorts as well as live streams. So you want to hang out while we play some video games, definitely go check that out.
Subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. That way you get notified every time I go live with a new video. With that being said, I'm going to edit this video and turn the fan on because I am sweating buckets right now. So hopefully you guys will stop by for next week's episode. I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.
Whisper in the classroom, the writing on the wall. What's blood for, if not for the shedding?
You used to play that childhood game, didn't you? The one where we chant his name. Was it true? Staring in the mirror, I can say, come to me. I can hear him calling back to me. Be my victim, Candyman, when I say his name again. And then me, with a man, my whole world disappears. Candyman, Candyman. Was there for